All right. The Republican side of the ballot for the U.S. special U.S. Senate election, which is going to be held in June, seems to be filling out nicely. We have two new candidates jumping into the race today. Yeah, as you know, we already had Representative Dan Winslow, Gabriel Gomez, who's gone into hiding apparently after doing a YouTube video, and then a guy named Featherston from Ashland. And today we have two more people whose names may be familiar to you. One of them is Sean Belot, who ran against Barney Frank and then last year against Joe Kennedy. We're trying to get him. And the other one is Mike Sullivan, the former district attorney of Plymouth County, and also the former U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Massachusetts. Mike, good to have you with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Thanks for having me, Howie.
So, are you in or out?
Well, I'm in. Provided we're able to get sufficient signatures to qualify for the ballot. I mean, that's the first hurdle, and that's the first sprint in this race, and feel extremely confident based on the feedback we're getting. We're going to make the ballot, so that's key.
Well, you had an organization, so it shouldn't be that difficult for you to get the 10,000 signatures, although I know a lot of them have to come from counties outside your base area.
Yeah, and I served in the DA's office, obviously, back a number of years ago. I served as U.S. Attorney from 2001 through until 2009. So,
right.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there that I've remained friends and friendly with, and when they heard that there may be an interest, they quickly jumped on board and said they wanted to help, and I'm grateful for that. It's been kind of a groundswell of support and enthusiasm. We're going to do it strictly through a volunteer network, and I know most people
no paid signatures. No paid
None.
signatures.
None. Nope.
That makes it a lot tougher, as you well know.
No, it makes it that much more challenging. But at the same time, I think you get a real test in terms of your ability to build a field organization with committed supporters. And nothing more challenging than going out and getting signatures and people that are willing to do it. They're obviously tremendously important, to a campaign organization. I'm grateful, certainly for the time and effort that people are committed to putting into this. So we're optimistic. We're going to be able to get the signatures, get on the ballot, and get involved in this campaign.
Let me ask you a question before we talk about the campaign, just a question we've been talking about today. Do you think Whitey Bulger's trial should be televised?
I think all court proceedings should be televised.
What is the story, Mike? I don't understand why the federal courts are lagging so far behind. I mean, not just this one, but shouldn't every trial or every trial be open to cameras anyway?
I think so. I've always believed so. I think that the process with cameras in the courtroom are a lot different than without cameras in the courtroom. So I think it's important that the public should have access. And I know the courtrooms are open, but most people cannot find the time to go in and actually observe.
And there aren't going to be enough seats either for this one. They're not going to be. There's not going to be enough seats for this one, even with the extra room that they're going to put in with closed circuit TV.
Well, that's especially true, particularly with all the victims' families that are very much interested in seeing justice.
Yeah. So, how are you different? Why would you say that people should get involved with your campaign rather than the others? I mean, let's face it. I mean, Sean Belot is he's had a couple of good races and uphill races, and Dan Winslow is a good solid Republican. Gave up a judgeship to work for Mitt Romney. What sets you apart?
Listen, I think they're all good candidates, and I'm anxious to have the opportunity to travel across the state and meet the other voters and persuade the other voters that the best candidate for the job would be me. My experience is what it is. I've been both in the private sector for a number of years and back in the private sector, and in between spent some time in government, both elected politics and appointed positions, and taking on increasing responsibilities along the way. So. I think that the breadth of the experience and the type of things I've done may set me apart a little bit from some of the other candidates. I look at this as a kind of a grassroots organization building a campaign from the ground up, as opposed to from the top down. That's always been my approach, and I'm a terrific listener, and I learn a lot from hearing what other people have to say, and I'm anxious to get on the ballot and have an opportunity to visit people across the Commonwealth.
We're speaking to Mike Sullivan, the former U.S. Attorney, the former District Attorney of Plymouth County, and the former state rep, and he's jumping into the race for the Republican nomination for the U.S. Senate seat. I'm sure that if you get the nomination, whoever gets it on the Democratic side is going to say, Mike doesn't have any experience in Washington.
Well, that might be a good thing for most people.
That was a softball question. I'm glad you recognized it as such.
Considering that, most people think that the people down in Washington haven't done a very good job over the last several years. So,
yeah.
So I'm not afraid of confronting that in terms of limited experience in Washington. In fact, it may be a badge of honor.
What's the nation's number one issue right now, Mike Sullivan?
Well, listen, I think obviously it's the debt, the deficit, and the economy. They're all really tied in together. There's a lot of collateral issues that are tied into those. But I think, really leadership, the ability to make sure that the public's interest is being best represented and best protected.
Someone wants to know if a person can sign a petition for nominating a nomination paper on the online. I don't think that's possible, is it?
No, not that I'm aware of. I think the petition has to be signed in person.
So do you have a website yet, Mike?
Not yet. We have not opened up a campaign account. We're not accepting any donations until we make the ballot. This is truly a grassroots organization.
I know. So, I guess just people would like to know where they could get nominating papers. You have to every town. You have to. You can't have signatures mixed from town to town.
Right.
Everybody on one page that you turn in has to be from the same town.
Correct.
So where do people get the nomination papers?
Someplace they can go right now is a Facebook page, Draft Mike Sullivan.
Draft Mike Sullivan, yeah.
Draft Mike Sullivan was set up, I think, a week or so ago. And there's instructions on that Facebook page in terms of how to contact people in order to get nomination papers. And I suspect over the next several days there will be a lot of folks out and about at key locations, trying to get the requisite 10,000 signatures.
Okay, I got a trick question for you here from the western part of the state. You're on WHYN in Springfield right now. And I'm not going to ask you if there's a seacoast because we know that's already tripped up one senior senator. Okay, what is the westernmost county in Massachusetts, Mike?
You are tricking me with questions. Now, I know Springfield is Hampden County.
Correct.
And that's not the most western county. The Berkshire County is further west than Hampden County.
I think I'll take that as a correct answer. Berkshire County is the most is the furthest
well, and
west.
you mentioned I was the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Massachusetts, Howie, and I hate to correct you because you really make a mistake. I was the U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts.
Oh, the district. I'm sorry. Okay, then I stand corrected. Okay.
So that would include Western Massachusetts as well, and there's a federal courthouse in Springfield that I had the pleasure of visiting on a number of occasions during my service as U.S. Attorney.
Not to mention the federal courthouse in Worcester. I've been in that one.
There's a federal courthouse in Worcester as well, which
named
is
after
not
a congressman whose name slips my mind now. What is his name?
But that's not considered Western Massachusetts.
It's a Hibernian. It's a Hibernian name for some reason. I can remember that. Who could it be? John Kerry was shopping around for a seat, I believe, 40 years ago, trying to force him out of office so he could run. All right, let's see here if there's anything else. Okay, so there's nowhere people can reach you except at Draft Mike Sullivan. That's the only
Draft Mike Sullivan.
That's the only place you got.
The current address, and I'm sure over the next couple of days we'll have more information posted on there for people to be able to volunteer, and I'd certainly appreciate any support we can get. And we're excited about it.
Okay, Mike Sullivan, former U.S. Attorney, and for the entire District of Massachusetts, and also for Plymouth County. Thanks for being with us, and we look forward to talking to you again here on the Howie Carr Show.
Thanks for the time, Howie. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks. That's Mike Sullivan.